Hi guys, Kim here. Friesland Cataclysm. So recently I was prompted to remember that I'd done something which was creating a set of divination cards back in early 2020. And at that time I just filed them away and didn't look at them anymore because it was just a concept of something that I'd been working on. But the concept was based upon Shambhalas and lost civilizations, because I had this thing about, and still have, about maps and old maps. Anyway, this particular card, the one I called Friesland, had the interpretation, and then the meaning came out to me as Cataclysm. And this is just made up by me, right? But I've taken a screenshot of this because when I looked at it, I made it on the 3rd of March 2020. And then I thought, wow, this is really interesting. So this is what I wrote back then. Friesland. Friesland also referred to as Frisland, Frislandia, or Frichland. It emerged on maps, virtually all maps, from the 1560s to the 1680s. Reports tell that Friesland was an island between Greenland and Iceland, and that there are a number of ancient maps that record the location of this large island. And by 1671 it was barren, low-lying. It seems to have disappeared off maps around the mid-17th century. Unfortunately, there is another place which is called Friesland now, which is a province of Holland, and it goes by this name today. Therefore, any research into this island is difficult, and it's unclear as to which Friesland people they are referring to. It even has suspected by some that the residents of Friesland, the island, are actually the descendants of this race of people who fled to the islands prior to its demise, who fled from the island prior to its demise and settled along the coastline of Holland. Apparently they don't speak Dutch, but they speak a different language, something akin to English, and there's also a record of a book, which in brackets I put here, not authenticated by current day historians. And the book's called the Oera Linda Book, or the OLD by acronym. So Friesland was a place large enough to support towns and agriculture. There's reference to it in the book published in 1558 by a guy called Caterino Zeno of Venice. And the book is based upon letters and maps called the Zeno map, dated around the 1400s. And it tells of an explorer prince named Zichmni. And the book was written by his ancestors, Nicolò and Antonio Zeno, who accompanied Zichmni on this journey across the Atlantic in the 1390s and made a record of the voyage and the places they visit. I found reference to a massive active volcano existing on this island, and if this was the case, then this island did sink around the end of the 17th century or the beginning of the 18th. Then this would have been a catastrophe of magnificent proportions, but there's no historical evidence of this. So when I wrote that, that was the description for the card, and then I wrote the meaning of the card, which was to be the Cataclysm. When drawing this card, one should be mindful that change in life cannot occur without a significant effort on your part. In simple terms, one cannot expect change if one simply lies in bed and wishes for it. Some of the very dramatic things that happen to us in this life, then, after the fact, we can look back upon them and see how these events were necessary in order for us to move out of a particular situation. So if you've drawn this card today, it would imply that you're about to go into a phase of your experience which could be deemed as a wild ride. Elements of your world may be turned upside down, upset and unplugged, and there is no doubt that this needed to happen in order for you to be given the opportunity to clear out the old and bring in the new. Secretly, it may have been something that you've been wishing for, perhaps without the knowledge that you were. I see it as a wave, water rushing into your life, cleansing that which needs to be cleansed away, leaving you a bit drenched, but you can also be a little bit healed. When things come in to upset our existing conditions like this, it seems to have an effect on our energetic state, upsetting our energy body, so the internal atoms feel scattered, and it can make the individual feel more defensive than normal, reactionary rather than responsive. It's almost as if we put a protective shield around ourselves to protect our atoms until such time that they can resettle into place. During this time, it's suggested that one should spend minimal time, as much as possible, with others, as anyone in our energy space is likely to be feeling the backlash of our protective mode. Plus, we too can be so much more sensitive than normal, therefore attracting even more chaos than normal in our wake. So sit back, meditate, breathe, just center yourself. Go for a walk in the park, do yoga, go for a ride, splash around in the water if it's close enough. Nature can help you recenter in this energy. Listen to birdsong, watch the kids playing, laughing, feel the energy of nature around you. And if all else fails, do not forget to ask for the help from guides or angels if you feel at all a little bit overwhelmed. So I wrote that back on the 3rd of March 2020, and I just found it today. Thought it was very interesting, considering the wild ride that we've been on. Anyway, just wanted to tell you about it because I thought it was pretty weird. Thanks for listening. Ta-ta for now.